last minute things before I get into this video, but I was just thinking. I thought it was kind of important for me to mention. Um, this is what Democrats have people thinking. They think Bernie Sanders is no different than Hillary Clinton or anybody else. Hillary Clinton showed a little bit more balls by voting to go fight in Iraq. But anyways, this is what they want you to think. So we go, instead of going in and capturing Osama bin Laden. So, however that went down, they had to murder Osama bin Laden so he could become a martyr for his cause. Instead of taking him in and having him go due process like they did Saddam Hussein. That's probably why Saddam flipped out so much, is because he was convicted and then sentenced to death, and he was not put in a place as a martyr. He was not murdered or martyred off like that. He had a tribunal like they wanted to do with Hitler, and that was it. It was fair and square, and it, and it was probably good to see a little worm like Saddam Hussein freaking weasel like scream like a little weasel bitch as he got his ass lynched at the end of a tight rope that just snapped his neck perfectly, so he would die the instant that he ended uh, found himself at the end of the rope. So they got it scientifically made so that whenever you land at the end of the rope, it snaps your neck. It's supposed to, so it's more humane. But anyway, so they'll have you thinking that you can't hang Saddam. That was wrong to invade Iraq. And I mean, for crying out, can you believe America did that? So, yeah, we did. I believe it. I support it. I can't believe that they pulled us out of there without actually having a victory in sight. They just pulled us out of there recklessly like that. So, here's the Osama bin Laden thing. So, for whatever reason, it went down the way it went down. They said it supposedly got the guy's body, but I would have liked to have got him, other hardened terrorists, and then not necessarily brutally punish them and then execute them. I would like to see them torture the terrorist and up the stakes on torture so that they can basically um, try to hoax as much information out of these creeps as they possibly can, because obviously it makes sense. All these people talking about Bush and Iraq, and it wasn't justified, and there was no WMDs. There's hundreds of pictures of WMDs that they dug out of the ground there that are still being found, probably out there, that will always still be found, that's hidden because you don't know exactly where they are until you stumble across them and the place is clear enough. You don't get shot to death to fucking look for the shit. But anyway, so that the WMDs truly did happen. He still had an arsenal. He was paying the UN inspectors off or something was going down that was not legitimate or in America's favor. And in America's favor means that it's in the world's favor, means that it's also in the entire world's hand if America plays its cards out and they win and they're victorious. America. As long as we're fighting on the right side of democracy. So getting Saddam out of the way proves that we um, still have a strong power behind freedom and democracy. So that's not even chumping or bullying somebody. If you have to go in there and kick their ass like that, that's just killing a dictator. That's not nothing wrong with that at all. So, anyways, they would have caught these other terrorists, thug wannabe pieces of garbage, instead of just blowing them away, droning them or whatever. They could probably find out a lot of information the public can be divulged on exactly how 9/11 transpired and who funded all of it and everything like that. So there's a lot of information. Of course, the Democrats would want to just kill those people off. Don't have a reason to keep them around. You know, can't try them in the military tribunal either because it's not a war. Because they don't want to admit that we're in war anymore. Whenever basically, that's what the documents say we're in war right now. So, um, so now we're talking about um, a little bit about our wars. I'm kind of a staunch Republican. I'm not ever going to vote for a Democrat. I have not ever voted for a Democrat, and I will not ever vote for one. I will always vote for a Republican. It depends on which Republican is in there. I voted for Newt Gingrich in the last primary. I don't know who I'm going to vote for now, and I really don't want to put thoughts into other people's minds because I still think I'm trying to read what's going on and other people and what other people are saying about the candidates. Also, not just what the candidates are saying, but definitely we're being bamboozled here. So I wanted to. There's gonna be two other videos that I feel um is I'm compelled to try to pull off and do, which I will. One is I want to take the corruption out of the how do we uncorrupt the government, and I just want to skip past that whole deal right there. We'll talk about this Bernie Sanders campaign financing a little bit, but I'm gonna skip all the BS. I'm gonna shoot straight to. I'm gonna put it all on the line, and I'm gonna say end all mafias in America. At least right here in America, before we can go out in the world and help crush and stop any other mobs or mafias or criminal syndicates and criminal activity going on, and just make things legitimate. If there's something that is going on that people need, that's why we're talking the battle over marijuana. If surely, if there's enough, surely, hi Shirley, if there's surely enough people in America, the majority that say, legalize marijuana, tax it, and then don't just make it to where um, you have to buy it at a store either like that. Open it up so that people can grow it in their yard because I could if I had I don't smoke cigarettes, but if I had tobacco seeds, I could take these tobacco seeds legally, legitimately, and I can grow them in a pot. If I'm good at gardening, I'm crafty at doing the garden thing, then I will more than likely have some kind of yield, or I'll learn something from it at least um, if they don't survive. I'll at least learn uh, a good deal out of having these seeds. So I'm just saying, don't just legalize it to where it's just taxed in the stores and then regulated like alcohol. Make it so people can grow it themselves because the more people who are smoking it can be helped to be made responsible and not have to be act like such a clown, because a lot of people act like a clown, I think, and take things a joke because this is how corny life can be. So um I want people to take it serious and take me serious for a minute. um I just said more money in our pocket is more money in our economy's pocket, and that's how the money works its way around. um and everybody's got to be able to save some money out of there, and it's possible, feasible, and I know that it's a baloney statement if you're talking about inflation. You can't get it down, and that all of us cannot have money in our banks or save money, and the economy do well. That's not true. Um, how they are stripping the economy and hurting it is they're making it so that basically money doesn't be taxed properly, and they're looking in particular for ways that they can spend the tax money on that you're not noticing. You like this Obama guy or the Bernie Sanders guy. Well, they've got a game plan to look at things on how they can get rid of the money and kind of hide the money. So it's a little bit, it sounds like extortion, because the money is at least, our tax money is at least disappearing, it's vanishing. So if the money doesn't show up in somebody's account, or if it doesn't show up in other places and it just disappeared, that's what's causing inflation and causing basically all these bubbles all over the place. That and greedy people. I guess greedy people, um, definitely, if they're charging more, or monopolies. That's why they outlawed monopolies, because it hurts the economy and other people that much, to where um, um, was it stagnates, or it strangles or stagnates the market is what it does. So battle over marijuana. I'd like to see that seriously. Take that for you know um, be serious here for a minute. We want to see legalized marijuana here. So I don't believe what people are saying about it being more harmful than not. This other video that I'm gonna do, I gotta figure out how I'm going to explain it. Was a video what it was like um after coming out of being fried. So you were fried by an immunization shot, 3 months old. So you had um it done two procedures, it done twice when you were 3 months old. So it screwed you up. So the thought that I had was, believe it or not, it was related to AIDS, and it's not that he had AIDS. It's that it directly affects him being a child and him surviving and not dying. So one way or another, it could have either ended his life or his life could have continued. But like how babies don't get the AIDS sickness disease from their mom, often at times, from what I understand, um, when the mother has it. And they've had cases of that in Africa, I guess, a lot, where the mother had AIDS and the baby was born, maybe not healthy, completely healthy, because they, you know, um, are in poverty there, but it didn't have the AIDS virus. It was clear of that. So, and the reason why relate that to that is because it just makes me think if a baby can do that, then it's possible that the baby can definitely overcome um, being put in a situation where they are showing um, different symptoms, being autistic or whatever um, else that could be have a medical term and name put on um, some kind of handicap that person has. So I'm just saying that it made me think of the connection there because um, children can are they're surprising on how they can get over some certain things that go on. But so I'm not so sure about being an adult and having that happen and you being able to. But there has to be cases where adults have overcome, you know, also. Uh, I would just wish anybody luck that has any of those issues um, that you are taken care of and helped out to where you can get your wish or your way and that you're healthy and 100% better. I just wish anybody with that any of that crowd right now would be better off than they are and get well. That's basically what I'm getting to. Is I wish that you'd get well. So now we're gonna talk about the war. The war is justified. It only makes me realize that we're gonna end up having to go back to Iraq, and I don't understand why a guy like Obama he's come to a point where now he can be like, all right, I'll do a little bit conservative. I'll do what these Republicans do. I'll be like them a little bit, and we'll go and we'll whoop these terrorists real quick. I'll go have them go to Israel and go have lunch with Netanyahu. Now, see, if I were president, I would be wanting to speak with Netanyahu a lot, and then I would get some other presidents, prime ministers on the phone, and I would just make us all look the best that we can, look solid and not just important but strong, and that we're taking care of business and what people, um, what they basically already have accomplished up to now in Israel is where I want America to be, and it doesn't just end there either. The your security um, barriers are endless on how you can be protected, how to win wars against creepy, criminal, vicious acting terrorist thugs that you're in a war with. Okay, this isn't some kind of urban fight or something like that where it's almost a drawn out civil war or something. It's an actual war against some other people. Don't even speak your language. So I say always the end in sight that I have is to be victorious over creeps out in the world that want to terrorize innocent people. So that's why good reason why another one why the Iraq war is justified and why it's necessary. And people can talk all the shit that they want to about Iraq, but that shit is necessary. And Obama proves it. He only proves it. At a point in time when so many things happen, he still wants to cram these refugee people down our throat. When we've got now, he's throwing, believe it or not, he's throwing Latino people and uh, just basically people who could become legal here. Other than that, kind of on the back burner and under the bus a bit, in my opinion, because I thought that they were important to him. I thought that he wanted to get them citizenship and get them legalized here, you know? So really their efforts are more into um, making the thing bust and to really help everything along and play the game to where the game, you know, is basically easy to maneuver. People can, you know, if this was a game, people could easily, you know, go through it and play it easily and come out a winner. It doesn't have to be one guy win and everybody else lose. You know, this isn't Monopoly. This is real life. So when a person is successful, that is good for them and what's around them. So I don't know why anybody would be for people being dirt poor or having to resort to going to the government for anything. You know, free education. How are you going to give me free stuff? Where's it gonna come from and who's paying for it? How'd you get free stuff? Did you bully some manufacturer? Did you go and bully some billionaires? Is there something that I don't know about? Did you come cough up $1 billion yourself and put it in there? Are you gonna pay for it? Are you the grandfather of you know, this is basically where Bernie Sanders now is coming from. We already had the free stuff. We had the free healthcare. We had the free phones. We have free everything. Except I didn't get no free dental. I just needed to see the dentist a couple of times and then get connected with one so that I can make routine trips to see one. But it's so far out of control that it's the price of a damn car or a little truck. I could go buy a little truck for the amount of money they want to fix my teeth over. You know, it's it's incredible. It's just incredible. So I just say, um, you know, they're gonna overtax us, and that's gonna hurt us extremely. So they're gonna try to tax us in a way where people aren't even gonna be able to go to the store anymore. It's gonna shut down every store in America. Every store is gonna shut down because they're gonna be like, there's nobody coming here. We have to basically because they taxed us so much now that if you save any of this money, I say if you could show them where the money's at, and then it will benefit the economy. If it just disappears and vanishes, it's bad for the economy. So I'm just saying now they're gonna tax us so bad that the trickle down effect that really happens is it comes down to us when we go to buy stuff. They're going to make the price of things more expensive and it's going to get more out of control, which has already led me to already thinking, I'm like, it blows me away on how many things it takes a person to survive on these days. And I'm like, how could I do that without paying the electric company, without paying the water and sewage? How could I do it all myself? Dig a well and build a windmill or whatever. Get electricity out of the stream down here or whatever. Whatever you can think of, add to your own. mix so that it cuts the cost of having to go somewhere else and pay somebody else for something that you need. And then there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily need. You just want them extremely to yourself, like I have coffee. I do coffee and cocoa. I like coffee and cocoa. So that's something, a luxury that I keep to myself, that I kind of hoard to myself. I'm like, I really like that stuff. So out in the wild, what I think now is I probably would have to trade it off, trade off what I have here and try to find something else in the wild that could maybe compare to what I have here. So as soon as you work out your things that are necessary that you need, you know, even maybe even try to work on your hygiene while you're out there. Figure out how to make a maybe you can make a type of toothpaste. Figure out how to keep your teeth clean and stuff like that. Make soap and whatnot. Once you get past that, then you can focus on your things that you would want out there. But it sounds totally doable. And just the way that they didn't make it to where you could easily go to school and pay a school a reasonable amount of money. If they had us now um, on 1950s prices at colleges, that would help out extremely, extremely, like across the whole America. If they had us just at 1950s tuition costs in America, what it cost to go to colleges back then was that price now. But that's not what they're saying. They're saying this is going to be free. The healthcare is going to be free. Well, they already gave us the free healthcare, but they didn't. They're completely corrupt about the whole entire thing. So that's why I want to do another video on ending the mafia and ending um, all organized crime in America. There's two classifications. There's organized crime, and then there's crime that's just singled out type of crime, where it's not organized. It's just individuals committing the crimes. But I thought that before you could get, I mean, do your best to get rid of all crime in America, you're gonna have to start somewhere. So I would like to see the organized crimes, the syndicates, the mafias, the mobs, all of them be done away with. So that would be one thing I think is important. So I want to do that, and it has a lot to do with the way that the Democrat Party in particular has been getting away with scamming people since Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton shut down our factories here the best that he could. He killed American businesses. Um, they're big on unions, so the unions get tons of money from these guys, and then turn around and it's gone, and they need more money. And it's money that gets wasted. It's money that just vanishes. You never see it ever again. It's gone. It does not necessarily show up in people's bank accounts, as far as I know. Um, it's just sounds like a very corrupt thing. So I'm compelled and kind of motivated now to make a video and talk about that. So I need to probably do a little bit of research on um, different ways how you could go about um, attacking organized crime in particular. So, anyway, so now we're talking about depopulation now. So, depopulation sounds like the Democrats try to eliminate people as much as they can early on, and uh, it sounds like Republican type of people um, are more inclined to killing off other adults. So what it is I'm and I agree with this one thing I think should be going on here more. It was because of a guy named Jesse Famous killed a Marine general in Oregon when we were living in Oregon, and I was in the area the night and blew a tire. The night uh, that it happened, I was out by Glide, and we blew the tire right by where um by where the general lives. From what I understand, I had never been there to the guy's house, and it's unfortunate that the guy famous was out there and did that to the guy. But anyways, he got the death penalty, and now I see if somebody who deserves the death penalty is just gonna have um, a judge, or not a judge, but somebody liberal in that's got power, some kind of ability to stop them from being executed. So they postponed Kids Hopper, I believe, did. Thanks, Kids Hopper. Kids Hopper was in the Marines before too. He's a ex-Marine. There is a such thing as an ex-Marine if you're a complete liberal, Democrat donkey a-hole, and you let people get off of murdering a Marine general. They were in the military and he went and killed the CO or killed somebody like that in the service, they'd have had him dead, court martialed, like dead, like sentenced to die capital punishment. He'd have been executed promptly, like expediently. So anyway, so they give him enough time to sit in prison for 7 years now, while they give him this legal time they think is legitimate for people who murder other people. So uh, I feel that it's kind of important in policemen's duty, especially if they're going to defend the Second Amendment. I feel it's more for their own sake, which I support them in that effort too. I don't want to see cops in America without guns. I don't want to see people who are going to just defend themselves and do the right thing with the gun and not do anything bad or harmful with one, like go and rob somebody or something. Anything like that. Have a weapon too. Um, but um, I'm just saying that I feel it is in the job description for police right now. If they have somebody hostile, they committed a heinous act that they need to, you know, I don't know, mum's a word. I don't want to go too far and like saying like staging stuff, but if they know that a creep did that and that's for a fact, Jack, that that's who did it, without any doubt, then it's up to the cop to try to figure out the cops, the police, to figure out how to silence the person once and for all right there before it even goes to trial, and that saves us so much money. If we just execute criminals like that, I don't let the police execute them more. We want to see them kill more people. because that will save on court costs, court fees, lawyer fees, and obviously the jail time that it takes. And then some liberal comes along and commutes their capital punishment sentence to life in prison. Um, we need to see more people killed off. So they say, oh, he tried to shoot it out with the police. I mean, oh no, that guy killed himself. He killed himself. No, but see, that's why I'm saying, like, with the terrorists, though, I would like to see some more of them, which they are. They're being captured a lot. They were before we had Guantanamo Bay. Now, this knucklehead Obama wants to close Guantanamo Bay. It's another stupid thing. Every single thing he does is stupid, and he says it's the only way. It's the only way for him to become maybe a dictator, and the only way for him to have America become a third world nation, him to possibly be able to take our guns. It's the only way for him personally to be triumphant, not for America to be triumphant or anybody else to be victorious. But in his head, in Obama's head, he thinks he is the monarch or whatever the hell he thinks. He's a piece of garbage, and his bloodline is not any better than anybody else's. And I wouldn't put anything past him. I would not put any dirty, rotten, low down thing that can go on God's green earth. I would not put it past that guy, and that's who basically tricked everybody and still comes out there makes a little sweet little pussy ass joke or something to people, and then wins the hearts and minds of the universe, which is bullshit. But anyway, so he wants to he wants to close Guantanamo Bay. Okay, and that's the same as him just going out and droning terrorists. It sounds really lazy, and a lot of people would support that, and they're like, "Yeah, he got Osama bin Laden." No, he didn't. The military did, and the military was gonna do it, I guess, with or without his approval, without him saying go or not go. So he had to say go in order to make himself look good. But instead of bringing the guy in and torturing the guy for information, now, what do you think is worth torturing somebody? Me for my words? Me for some words? So I would be good enough to take out or kill or take out and torture for what? I don't know what you're going to get out of me, anyways, other than just to morbidly see me, in pain. Um, but somebody who has an operation, though, we're talking about these guys who kill thousands of our troops up to now, okay, and they've killed thousands of civilians. That Paris attack thing, did those people realize, and the people in New York still voting for left leaning Democrat lunatic politics, lunacy? Do they still comprehend 9/11 and what really went down there that day? Okay, and then they want to say that it's what the Republicans did it, and the Republicans are the ones that are corrupt. Look, your guys have been in there. There's for freaking 7 years now. They're gonna be in there for 8. I hope it's not 12, cause there's gonna be something's gonna go down here big time, and in the world too, will come loose again. The buckle will come undone. But so um, they want to go and kill these guys instead of bringing them in and torturing them for the information that they have for who sponsored the execution or style plot attack terrorist attack? Who funded this? Where'd the money come from? So I feel from a lot of the reports, some of the reports that I've heard, and even still lately have heard about it. I believe that it sounds like um, funds are coming from Saudi Arabia in particular, and um, I don't know if that has to do with linking with where the terrorists are coming from in particular, but if that's where basically their uh, their kings and stuff are, there'd be a good reason why they wouldn't want a lot of that information also too to be released out, because that would get us into a war with Saudi Arabia. So, and I don't think Saudi Arabia wants a full-on war with America to go put their boot up their ass like they did any of the other countries out there. But they obviously need to have a Trojan horse type of like presidential candidate guy come and become president in '08. It sounds like um, he's more than just with the left lunacy, typical Democrat stupidity. It sounds like he is straight up a jihadist and he hates Israel. He wants to see the destruction of it and America, which people don't get, and I don't understand how people can be um, so lax in the brain. And then they hear some other stuff out here, and they're like chastising Israel instead of realizing that they're manipulators. The Palestinians are manipulators, and um, they're propagandists, and they're trying to declare victory over the world. They don't win. They haven't won jack shit. The Muslims have not won nothing. They haven't won anything in like a long time too. They've got all these things like the Rock of the Dome there in Israel. I can't wait to see it removed and destroyed. It's going to be, from what I believe and understand, it's going to be a natural event. It's going to destroy the Rock of the Dome. That's what I believe. So maybe it's people. Maybe people will destroy it. I don't know, but it's definitely also what I understand is World War III is happening. So we're lucky that we still have the Kurds on some of our side, and there's um, Kurds and other allies that America has. Excuse me, that we've fought to protect and to keep. They're strong allies. It's a good thing that they are still showing support after this nutty lunatic leftist stuff, and they realize at least not all Americans are like that, and the majority of Americans in the military aren't not clowns like the Democrats. But I was saying, I have a little. Everybody has a little bit of liberalism in them. So, uh, on the brink of World War III, and it looks like Obama has sworn uh, himself an enemy to America and in a alliance with the terrorists, with um, the extremists, the Muslim extremists, and that's why he won't say that we're in war, and that's why he tries to make the focus seem different than what George Bush was pointing out and was having us do. Um, he's also coming from a tyrannical type of point of view too, like, oh, you can't kill Saddam Hussein. Do you do you want to see Saddam Hussein. Let's see. Let's look up this. Saddam Hussein. Hussein uh, beating people with a stick. Let's see. Saddam Hussein beating people with a stick. It's war extremes. Oh, this is ISIS right here. This is Saddam's old regime. They're beating this guy's hand. They're not cutting it off like they traditionally do. They're rendering his hand useless. They're breaking his arm and his hand. So after that, it makes it so that he can't use his arm anymore. I seen him do it to a little child. They ran the kids. They ran his arm over. Brutal. So we can't put these guys kill these guys. You know what I mean? Don't even talk about not cutting this fucking nonsense off. You can't even talk about stopping that. You better not even talk about stopping Saddam Hussein. Are you scared? I mean, I'm scared. I'm too scared to even say anything. So I mean, you can't talk about warlords, drug lords. You can't talk about um, spreading democracy. You can't talk about ending crime in the world altogether. You can't talk about ending poverty. Um, Basically killing all these suck ups. Um, getting rid of the crime, the real criminal minded people, and then just executing them. Don't torture people and beat people or whatever. Just take all these people out and prove without a shadow of a doubt that they're a creep and that they do not mean well and they're not here on the planet to get along and do well here. And start with America first. And then there's your depopulation. So we get rid of all those creeps. And then anytime they seize money, they take money and assets, we take that right away and we either put that into a school or we do something good with the money because they have taken so much money that was good, and if they launder it, then I seen it on the movies I watched, the Untouchables and stuff like that. So they like have to do their operation a certain way to make the money come out clean. You know, I'm talking about taking dirty money and just throwing it right into a clean compactor, like type of like uh, thing. I'm just making how do you say that, metaphor type of like explanation of where I'm going with this is you take all that money that and assets that you seized and you do the right thing with it and quit paying terrorists. So that's another thing that has us doing now is he's helping embolden terrorists more by paying them more. So and then basically I went over to the free stuff. That's all I was gonna do is say, where does the free stuff come from? I explained there's no such thing as free. So basically, I don't know if the person who's really paying for that needs to get irate and then possibly have to pay other people, or maybe there's going to be a gang load of them that pay that out of their butt. They work and they have to pay for all this free education and free healthcare now. We want to come up and punch somebody taking that free stuff in their face. especially whenever there's going to be such a widespread abuse of that. So we're not just talking about corrupt and abuse in the White House or in the government. We're talking about common people like all of me and you and us out here going and abusing that stuff instead of lowering inflation and being serious and real with people. It's terrible. So just like with the marijuana thing, that's why I'm just saying we want to lower the cost of education. We don't want we don't want to take advantage of people really and screw people over and screw people around. So the last thing I want to really say here is I need people who are acting a clown and voting for these liberals and take this Bernie guy Sanders even serious. I need them to grow up and listen and pay attention and take me serious and life serious for a second. Um, and if you can't do that, that's why it's gonna be. I'll do it. I'll get to that point and I'll explain it and I'll be able to point it out clearly if I do it right, and then I know I can do it. It's taking corruption out because they've heard corruption enough. They've heard the word corruption enough. So we have to start saying to these people who are going to vote for these lefties still, are like, do you think that there's, um, what do they say? They don't say immoral. How do they use, ethical. So ethics. So go back to ethics again. They're going to say like, oh, do you think it's ethical to not, allow this to go on, this abortion or whatever, this other thing to go on, let this guy who is convicted, capital punishment conviction, be commune to life instead? Then what, we're gonna eventually let him out to go home after they committed a heinous crime? They didn't give a shit and they didn't care. All they cared about was doing it and trying to get away with what they did. So, what we have to make these people that are voting for this left leaning lunacy is, are you taking your life seriously? Because obviously, it sounds like to me that they need this pointed out to where we need to go after, the operation needs to be to go after legalized marijuana for them, right? Because they all want it, and that's your majority. And it's creepy to take people that right away from them, just like the gun law away from people too. It's a First Amendment, Second Amendment, uh, and whatever else laws, that rights that we had are being stripped and taken away from us, and that's what we're talking about. Politicians still doing to this day, and having our own body, our own people here, subjects or whatever they want to call themselves now, help the government to come after us, to tax us more and to take more away from us. So we want to, we're going to have no other choice but to go after crime altogether. And if we have to push Obama out of the way because there's absolutely no way to throw him in prison for his criminal activity or take him out and shoot him, I mean, the federal government has to do something about this. They got all these different agencies that go after crime and criminals in particular, and then you have your president sit there doing it to us every single day. The guy wakes up, like I wake up doing these videos, or I do these videos. The guy waits. The Obama Hussein guy sits there and waits for his moments in time where he can go in, write some kind of executive law or something. I mean, that's why he hasn't done the more than maybe 100 or two uh, executive orders, is because he wants to make darn sure it's a good one before he does it. But in order to be able to stop and take power away from people like him, we have to have people here, all of us, including myself, be serious about ending crime here in America and just being honest with ourselves. And I can say that truly. I don't care um about myself in particular. If somebody wants to kill me over my words, like I said, I have a freedom of speech, and I am not a criminal like that. I don't go robbing people. I don't shoplift. Um, I don't do anything ridiculous and unnecessary like that. I believe that if I needed something and I couldn't get it, that I could find a reasonable means and way to do it without uh would be in what these where these refugees come from would be having your hand cut off. But here you go, probably get put on work crew or something. You just have a criminal chart at least be started for being caught shoplifting here. But I'm just saying, I don't do ridiculous stuff like that. So I feel that I have room, or especially the right to talk about ending corruption here, ending crime, and all of the mafias and everything. And I think that'll take extreme power away from the Democrat Party. These guys who have talking about that Bernie Sanders is sure he's not a liar. So that Ronda Rousey um, came out and got herself jinxed, got herself wished. A lot of people wish her to get, including myself, to get knocked out, and so she did. And that kind of made her day a little bit. It didn't make my day as much as I knew that was one victory for freedom and democracy right there. In my opinion, she had it coming. We all have mouths, and sometimes we definitely go too far. And she's in her job description puts herself right in the brunt of a nasty punch or a nasty kick to her head, like you seen there. And that's where she put herself in that job description. If somebody else screw up and we have karma happen to us, um, it makes sense that something bad would happen to us in our time for something that we did in particular. But we want to um, end all crime and take those criminals, those syndicates, and other people and whatever political gains they get that's dirty and illegal too. The government paying back people for campaign. That's like these guys paid Obama for campaign funds for him to become president, and then he goes around and helps through the government make them $1 billion because he gives them a government contract worth $1 billion. More wasted money. You just had seen some worthless pieces of garbage that hate you and hate other people that are snobby ass snobs just make $1 billion. And you've seen trillions and trillions of dollars be funneled out of our economy that way to be found nowhere. So thank you for voting for those guys. And then you're saying Bernie Sanders is no different. I pointed out to everybody, and they give me 10 thumb downs on me telling them the truth. I'm telling people the truth about their own guy. He's up here. He's sitting there talking about campaign reform, and that's what Ronda Rousey said while she was voting for him. No, it's because you won't admit that Republicans were right and are not corrupt. and Iraq was justified, basically. So that's why these people like Ronda Rousey and other people won't step up to the plate and pick a Republican candidate ever, is because they really they're really ignorant, and they believe what they are fed, what they are force fed. That is force fed. You're not force fed that if I tell you Bush was right about Iraq, that's not force feeding you that information. That's the truth. That's unforce feeding people that, because people can, like I said, they can go and listen to whatever they want, and that's what they chose to listen to. These Hillary Clintons and these Bernie Sanders and whoever the other guy is. I don't even know. Mondale, is it Mondale? Anyways, so campaign reform. He wants to make sure that the Republicans that are down here, way down here, if you could see my camera here is on my laptop, so I can't really move the camera and flop it over here, but you can tell I'm like way down here. This is where the Republicans campaign funds are. The Democrats, they're up here. They're way up here. I pointed that out in the video, and these guys put 10 thumbs down on my video for me telling them the truth, because they can't handle people telling them what the truth is. So he's gonna lobby to campaign reform. So the Republicans are giving no money. Oh, look at that! It went completely down to almost nothing now, because the Republicans don't have anybody endorsing them. Can't have billionaires and rich people and people who own different businesses and stores give them money at all. No way, man. We'll sick the IRS on them again. You know, you thought it was Trump whenever they did it in 2012. They got all these Democrats, Democrat evil, Lois Lerner, Democrat evil lady, like evil wench. Um, I'm probably giving wenches a bad name, but anyway, she basically is guilty of horrendous crimes against uh, other human beings, other Americans. She committed illegal, fraudulent acts against American citizens, and gets nothing. Nothing happened to her. She went to court. You seen that she was guilty. You know that she's guilty. That it's a crime. That that is definitely should have made everybody get up instead of going to their jobs and school or wherever they had to go. Everybody should have got up one day and just, I mean, got in their car, drove all the way to Washington or wherever this lady was, and take that lady out, okay, and hang her, just hang her to death. And then I I would guess that you need to wrap it all up. The way that America is not. It's exceptional. It's not a place where you're gonna let a tyrant and a dictator aspire to getting away with genocide and other things that these guys want to get away with, like the Nazis, like as if not former Nazis or something like that coming up, and trying to take over the world or whatever. We want to see all of them and we want to see the depopulation start and end only with corrupt and criminal minded and people with uh, terribly wrong intents. And that's justified. And it's not necessarily getting even, it's not vindictive either. It's the right thing to do, and it's not something personal to me necessarily. I just see it's very necessary to do.